Hi, my Waterford friends. It's Mrs. Mayo again. Wonderful to be with you. I had a thought today. I thought, boy, since we're not in school, there are no rules telling us that we have to do story time in the morning or before lunch or after lunch. So why not a bedtime story? So here I am getting cozy in my own bed with my own little snuggly friend, and I hope you have one too, and let's share a story together. There's a really special story that I think is really a good one to relate to our lives right now. I think a lot of you will be able to relate to our friend Henry. Henry and his life as a tulip bulb. Now, I know none of us are tulip bulbs, but I think you might be able to relate to some of the changes that are going on in Henry's life. Henry's life as a tulip bulb, developing an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude, that's a pretty big word. How many of you know what gratitude means? I know we've spoken about it in a lot of our lessons. Gratitude. Can you think of another word for gratitude? Yes, being thankful, right? Finding things in our lives that bring us joy and that we feel grateful for, we're thankful for, and we're happy that we have these things. And I think right now in our lives is a time where finding gratitude is really, really important because things aren't going exactly the way that a lot of us planned. But finding the things that are going to bring us joy and finding the things that we're really grateful for is going to help us keep a positive attitude and really get through this kind of tricky time. So when I'm reading this story, I want you to think about how your life relates to our friend Henry, the tulip bulb. My little friend Rocco's going to listen too. He's a good audience member. Henry was a tulip bulb, living on Lewis Harper's grocery store shelf. Henry felt very safe and satisfied living in his little cellophane bag. Some people might even say he had a very easy life. But little did Henry know that his life was soon to change in a very big way. I wonder how many of you feel like your life has changed in a very big way over the past few days. Maybe you relate to Henry in that way. One day, two little girls came into the Harper store and bought Henry. Boy, was he upset. Mr. Harper took him off the shelf and dropped him into a brown paper bag where he couldn't see a thing. It was right about that time that Henry started to complain. Oh, how many of you have complained today that maybe there's nothing to do, or man, I wish I could go play with a friend? I know I'm kind of guilty too. I think I probably have made a few complaints. It's easy to do. First of all, when the little girls got home, they ripped open Henry's cellophane bag. Next, they plopped him into a dark, damp hole in the ground. Henry was mad, to say the least. Why, oh, why does this have to happen to me? And what did I ever do to deserve this? Wailed Henry. Everything was so comfortable on the grocery store shelf. The way that life was. He liked it, didn't he? He's not happy where he is right now. The next day, Jenny, the oldest of the two girls, came and dumped a shovelful of manure on top of Henry. She then proceeded to stomp it into the ground with her size 4 feet. Ooh, how do you think Henry felt about that? Yeah, I agree. Probably not so happy. The nerve of that kid, Henry hollered. Why can't they leave me alone? Henry, a voice spoke softly. I love you, and this is good for you. You'll understand someday. Please trust me. I wonder how many of us have heard Mom or Dad or Grandma say those words to us right now. Just trust us. This is good for you right now. This is what's best for everyone. Yeah, probably some of you. But there's fat green leaves growing out of my head. It's starting to snow. I'm cold. And there's manure above me. Henry was really losing his patience. How many of you have lost your patience today? Yeah, we'll all have our moments, I'm sure. That spring, when Henry was just beginning to enjoy his new home, something strange began to happen. Henry began to sprout legs. Not just a pair of legs, but bunches of little hairy legs. This is it. I've had it. I want to go back to Harper's store and quit doing this to me, Henry protested. He's not feeling very happy, is he? No. Again, the voice spoke. Can't you feel the warm sun, Henry? And Henry, taste the sweet rain. A soft wind has carried it to you. I'm proud of you, Henry. But, Henry was speechless. It's not worth it. How will I ever survive? The voice spoke no more. During the next few weeks, Henry was even surprising himself. His little legs were almost as strong as his arms, which seemed to reach the heavens. The sun was warm, like the voice had said, and the morning dew was delicious. How Henry loved to drink it all in. But then, what was that knob growing out of Henry's head? It was different than his new arms. Henry began to once again feel uneasy. A knob growing out of Henry's head. What do you think that is? The knob growing out of his head. Oh. How could this happen to me? Everyone must be looking at that silly ball growing out of my head. I'm depressed, he said. That's another word for depressed. Sad. Yeah, that's a good one. The next day was a wonderful surprise to Henry. That little ball growing out of his head began to open. A beautiful flower began to emerge. Why, I think it's a tulip, Henry exclaimed. I don't believe it. I'm blooming. I'm a beautiful red tulip. Once again, the voice spoke. Henry, you're beautiful. I'm proud of you. You have spunk. Keep on, Henry. Henry looked upward. Suddenly, he realized all answers to his questions. Had Henry stayed in his little cellophane bag, Henry would have never become the beautiful flower he was meant to be. Thank you, voice, said Henry. Thank you very much. The end. Wow. So, boys and girls, in the end, what happened with Henry? Well, yeah, he went through a very difficult time and some changes that he was not very happy about, was he? He was not happy about those changes. But my friends, sometimes the things that we go through that are the most difficult, somehow in the end, if we dig deep and we find gratitude, thankfulness for things, we can come out on the other side of these difficult times even more beautiful and amazing than we ever thought possible. My friends, I hope you enjoyed our story tonight. My homework for you, and yes, I'm giving you homework, aren't I mean? My homework for you is to find one thing, one little thing that you are grateful for each day. One little thing, and share it with someone in your home. One little thing that you're grateful for, something that makes you feel thankful in your heart. Boys and girls, one thing that Mrs. Mayo is very thankful for is my time with you. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful night. I'm thinking of all of you. Rocco sends his love too. Good night.